Ice baths, massage guns, supplements, NormaTec pants. What are the best training hacks for hockey goalies? That's what we're talking about today. And because my buddy at the gym took creatine. Whoa, that's a good one. Maria here from Goalie Training Pro TV. I'm an exercise physiologist. I help hockey goalies like you win more games with fewer injuries. And if you're here watching this video, it tells me that you are interested in finding every possible advantage you can get so that you can stop more pucks. Am I right? So any tip or trick that we can find that maybe give you that 2% boost, you're like, I am all ears. Yes, please. I'll take one of those. So let's break down some of the popular hacks out there for your goalie training. Let's start with the massage gun. Does this thing work? Is it worth it as a hack? I would say, yeah, it is worth it. Do you need to have one? No, it's not a necessity. It's a hack, right? We're talking hacks. And you could use just, your lacrosse ball or your foam roller, or even just do massage on yourself. But I think the vibration does add another element to it. So I think this is a really useful tool to have. This isn't your sole form of mobility training. This isn't your flexibility. This doesn't replace your mobility training program, but in terms of working on tissue quality, I think it has good benefits. So that one gets a check mark. To ice bath or not to ice bath? That is the question. And the answer is, it depends. If you are training for hypertrophy, so if you are in a training phase, and we know that especially our off-season training is divided into different phases, it's called periodization. And sometimes, depending on who you are and what level you're at, the focus of a phase is on adding some useful muscle mass, not just bodybuilder muscle mass, but useful muscle mass, which is called hypertrophy. If you do an ice bath after hypertrophy training, it actually can decrease the hypertrophy benefits of that training. So that is no bueno. But if you're just using it as a recovery after a game or practice or intense training, and you really like the way it feels, so some of the studies have shown, hey, we don't see like an actual benefit at the cellular level, but these people tell us they feel better after they do it. That has some benefit as well. So I think if you're trying to gain mass, probably tap the brakes on the ice bath after those training sessions. If you just like the way it makes you feel and feel it gives you a lift or gives you a mental training benefit, then go for it. I actually made a full video about ice baths and looking in depth at some of the research, so you can find that video right here. The next one I've been getting questions about are NormaTec pants. If you don't know what I'm talking about, they're basically kind of pants you pull on that then can inflate. So they give you some compression. Typically they're used on your legs, and it's a sort of a recovery device. I haven't looked at all of the research on NormaTec pants, so if you have some more current research, don't send me a link to somebody's blog where they say how much they love them and how it makes them feel better. But actual research articles, I'd love to look at them. It's pretty hard to stay on top of everything. But some of the articles that I've looked at have compared active recovery to NormaTec pants to passive recovery, which means basically just like go home and sit around and do nothing. And they looked at, in that specific study, they looked at the sort of the clearance of blood lactate. So what we might, do a flush ride for, things like that. So they looked at, okay, does one of these interventions work better for clearing blood lactate? And in that study, active recovery and NormaTec pants did seem to help clear blood lactate better than just passive recovery, going home and doing nothing. So they were the same. They weren't better than just doing an active recovery. So in the goalies that I work with, they have a post-skate active recovery little module. It takes about 10 minutes to go through. And so there wasn't really a difference in doing a active recovery, which is sort of a movement-based recovery, not a workout, but just a movement-based recovery, versus putting on these pants. So for the cost, active recovery is free, and you get to sort of feel, oh, hey, how does my body feel? You're moving in different ways. You can see, oh, that's actually a little tight or tender, and maybe give it a bit of extra attention. I would go active recovery route. Another study looked at glycogen resynthesis after like a really depleting training training session, and it compared just passive recovery to the NormaTec pants. Glycogen is sort of the glucose form that's at the muscular level, so helping your energy stores in your muscle rebuild after a depleting workout, and they found no difference whatsoever. So bottom line with those, if you love them, then cool, but they're not really giving you a benefit. They aren't better than other sources of recovery, and they're definitely more expensive. So for me, that one wouldn't go on my list as a top 5 hack. Okay, what about supplements? What about protein powder, protein and carbohydrate recovery shakes, creatine? What about those? Whey protein shakes or protein shakes in general, or carbohydrate and protein shakes, those are just a replacement for food. You could get, so typically after a really tough workout or a depleting session, I'll want the athletes I work with to get about 20 grams of protein and 40 grams of carbohydrate right after that training session. You could get that from food, so you could have your peanut butter sandwich and whatever else to sort of bring you up to those macros. But this makes it very convenient. So you can just have that powder, add some water to your shaker bottle, shake it up, and get it down. So what I found when I had the gym is not many, especially teenage athletes, would bring a food snack with them to get those energy substrates back in their body immediately after the training session. But they would bring a shake because it was easy for them and it tastes good. Who doesn't like a chocolatey protein shake? So awesome. Great. If you're gonna have that, and especially younger athletes who are burning calories like crazy, who can't keep on mass, that's another way that you can really add a lot of caloric density. Because again, those young athletes tell me, like, I'm not hungry. Like, I can't eat enough food to keep it on. So if we make a nice protein and carbohydrate shake, we can add some peanut butter to it, we can add some yogurt to it, we can really make it very calorically dense, and it tastes good, and it doesn't, fill them up and make them feel uncomfortable, then that is a huge win. I've done videos on creatine. You can find that here, and it's probably one of the most studied supplements in the history of supplements. It does have a benefit. It's not like a steroid. It's not a stimulant. So people who tell you, I took it and I had so much energy, that isn't what it does. And again, I explain what it does in that video. But it does work if you are doing the right training with the right intensity on a consistent basis. And I mean strength training. It has an impact in your strength training performance and maybe your short repeated burst sprinting, like maybe your agility or your plyometric training. But if you aren't doing the right kinds of exercise with the right intensity and the right volume on a consistent basis, then that one is just a huge waste of your money. Now, before I deliver the 5 ultimate hacks that are going to deliver huge gains to your performance on the ice, I want to ask you something. What hacks do you love, or are there any that you've heard of that you kind of wonder about? Hey, is this worth it or not worth it? Drop a comment below and let me know. Also, let me know, I've been thinking about doing a full review video on NormaTec pants, looking at the research and the science a little more deeply. So if that's something that interests you, let me know in the comments below, and if enough of you say yes, please, then I'll make that video for you. But now let's get on to the 5 ultimate hacks that are going to deliver huge gains. So the ones we started with: massage gun, ice bath, NormaTec pants, supplements, those will give you, some of them will, some small benefits, some incremental benefits, that if you're doing everything else right, these are sort of the next things to look at. But if you aren't nailing these 5 ultimate hacks to start with, then don't even worry about those other things, about the 4 that I started with. Number 1 ultimate hack is drink water. The most effective ergogenic aid, so that's what they call performance enhancing substances, are ergogenic aids, things that help us perform better. The most effective ergogenic aid ever studied is water, with less than 2% dehydration, so a point where you don't even feel thirsty. your performance of motor skills drops dramatically. I'm terrible with numbers, so I'm not going to quote numbers, but they did a study looking at the accuracy of free throws in basketball players, and with less than 2% dehydration, so again, you're not even feeling thirsty, their performance in that task or their precision in that task went way down. I can't remember if it was 20% or what the exact number was, but you think about what you do as a goalie, your precision really matters. So it matters if your glove is here or here, when you're trying to make a save. So water is the number one, so staying hydrated. How do I know if I'm hydrated? You look at your pee, and it should look like pale lemonade. Not your first pee in the morning, not your first pee after you just took your vitamins, because those will be darker, but throughout the day, it should look kind of like pale lemonade. And no, you don't have to carry around a 4-gallon jug of water with you everywhere. Just have a glass of water when you wake up in the morning, and a glass of water with each meal, and you should be good to go. Ultimate hack number 2. Are you ready for this one? It's to eat food. Actual real food, like not stuff out of a wrapper and that has all kinds of additives and added sugars. Just food, fruits, vegetables, grains, lean protein. I've given you a bunch of recipes, so I'm going to drop the link to those in the description below so you can try out some of those. But again, the food we eat is the fuel for our exercise. It's the building blocks to help repair and rebuild our muscles and make us better humans. So let's put in quality products there. Ultimate hack number 3 for goalies is to become a crazy good skater. If you guys spend as much time worrying about your ice baths and your NormaTec pants and your massage gun as you did worrying about your skating, I think you'd be... Did I just do a little mixed metaphor? Did I just flip-flop that metaphor? What I'm saying is, if you spend as much energy on your skating as you did on all the other gadgets, I think you'd be way, way ahead of the game. It always makes me laugh when parents email me to kind of vent that how the coach of their kid's team makes them do the skating with all the rest of the team, and it's not fair because they're a goalie and they have all the gear on, and I agree. It's not fair and it's hard, but you should want to be one of the best skaters on the team. And if you can sort of set the bar like, hey, as a goalie, I want to be able to skate as well as the skaters do and work towards that goal. Even on YouTube, you look at some of the guys that do the tricks, with the puck and things like that, and they get that good because they practice it. So I think practicing your skating, either going to open ice or to stick and puck. When I go to stick and puck, I'll go in the net maybe 3 times, but the rest of the time I'm over by the sideboards, just doing my patterns. People know that I'm over there doing that. It's out of the way. It's no problem, but I'm just working on my skating. So whatever you can do to become a great skater, that is an ultimate hack, and it'll get you way more bang for your buck on the ice than any massage gun or gizmo. Ultimate hack number 4, get some sleep. Get off your devices and get some sleep. Try to get off your device at least an hour before you go to bed if you can. Try to go to bed at a regular time and get up at a regular time. Don't sort of be at the whim of, I stayed up till 2 in the morning, so then I slept until 10, and then you're trying to go to bed at, a reasonable time and you can't sleep, blah, blah, blah. Try to get in a routine. And I know it's not always going to work. You're going to have late practices, late games. Or you know what, you're going to go do the party hardy on the weekend, and I get it. I was young once, believe it or not. But for the most part, you're going to try to get into a regular sleep routine so that your circadian rhythms are happy and everybody knows what's going on. And you're also getting that time to repair and rebuild your tissues while you sleep. And ultimate hack number 5, this one is a no-brainer for me. It's train your body to do goalie things. So you should be doing off-ice training to prepare your body to do what you need to do as a goalie, not as a CrossFit athlete, not as a P90X athlete, not as a bodybuilder, but as a goalie. If you can't move the way a goalie needs to move, if you don't have the strength and the power, you're not going to be fast, which means you're not going to be able to play with patience. You're not going to be able to sort of wait for the shot. If you don't have the stamina stamina that you need to last a full 60 minutes and more if it goes into overtime, or if your team goes down, you know, on a penalty at the end of a game. You need all those tools to maximize your performance on the ice. And if you don't have those, it's just like being out there and being a crappy skater. You can ice bath and protein shake all you want, but it's not going to fix those huge missing links. So again, any of those 4 hacks at the start might help you, but only if you have these 5 ultimate hacks dialed in. I've given you links to some of the nutrition stuff. I've given you links to learn more about ice baths. For skating, I've given you a couple ideas how you can work on your skating. You could also seek out a skating coach to help you. If you need help with the off-ice training part, that is my wheelhouse. And if you're not sure, I don't know if I would stick to I don't know if I have the discipline to stick to a program. It's okay. Like a lot of people don't have the discipline to do it, and you're not going to see the results if you don't have the discipline. But if you're just not sure, go to my YouTube channel, Goalie Training Pro TV, and search the playlist called The 10 Secret Habits of Pro Goalies. It looks like this. We'll drop a link in the description below as well. And that'll give you a chance. Those are super short little workouts. They focus on strength, speed, stamina, mobility, and it really give you a little taste of, and you'll actually see results on the ice too. So you'll be shocked. You'll think, holy smokes, I'm hardly doing anything and I already feel so much better on the ice. If you are already working out consistently and you're just like, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing, or another signal is you're not seeing dramatic results on the ice. So you're working consistently, you're putting in the time, and your results are kind of like, I think it's working, maybe. Then that tells you, great job, you're working on something, but you're not working on the right things. Because when you work on the right things, you see dramatic gains on the ice. So if you want my help with that, you're already doing the work, so let's give you exactly the right things to do. Check out the link in the description to see how we can work together, and I can just give you the exact workouts to follow so you keep doing what you're doing, but now you know that you're working on the right things. If you found this video helpful, then hit me up with a like. If you haven't subscribed already, go and do that now. How would that be? And drop a comment below if you have any questions at all. I love interacting with you guys, answering your questions, helping you out any way that I can. Otherwise, I will see you next week, same bat time, same bat channel.